All set. That's a shame that just cut off like that. Now I have to split this up into 2 parts. Hooray! I should have really locally recorded this. Okay, so let's start this going again. Ding. Alright, so part 2, I guess, because OBS crashed. So we just keep going now. So if you recall, I just finished getting all the orbals in this level, and actually we're gonna do another major sequence break here. Over here, over where my cursor is pointing, there is an area that we're supposed to have the amulet of the champions for. It is a place that we go to get a moonstone at the very end of the game. However, if we just jump in this wall at a certain angle, we just clip right through, and we can walk right under here. That's not supposed to happen. Let's try that again. Clip under here, and now we are underneath the platform, and we can actually jump right into the loading zone here. Oh, stop dinging. Alright, so now we are in the moonstone section of the game. We're not supposed to be here yet, obviously. But, we can, so we're just gonna go here while we're here. It saves a lot of time. So, obviously, we still need to get 100 Yorbals. There's no way, even though we can skip to this area, we still need to get all the Yorbals to beat the game. So we just got Summon Melon. That lets us get item storage without having to find a random or a naturally spawning melon. Can just do it at any time. Right here, we want to jump at this wall. This is a really difficult thing to do, actually. I'm kind of impressed I got it first try. Just hold forward and clip into the wall like that. If the camera would cooperate, we just want to run around here. Jump in this water out of bounds, and then just kind of swim here. You want to get out of that little line of water, and that makes it so that we just float up to the land. I actually... Did I clip back in bounds? I did, dang it. I wasn't standing in quite the right spot, so I accidentally clipped back in bounds, which is pretty lame. So now I have to do this again. And this is very difficult to do. There we go. Might be better to be a little bit further left than I was. You can like hit A to jump up a little bit faster. What is going on? Why am I like clipping back? I don't know what's going on. This isn't going as well as it usually does. Normally you can just float right up here and it's perfectly fine. But for some reason I keep clipping back inbounds. This should be good though. There we go. Now we're up here. We skipped the entirety of this level. We're supposed to do a bunch of puzzles and stuff, but we just skipped everything by doing that. And now we get 2 minutes of Dance Dance Revolution.
Ooh, looks like pins and needles are challenging you to a sacred dance ritual to win the moonstone. Just move to the beat and you should be fine. The trick is to touch the glowing stones. That will make the dance pad move toward the moonstone. Get there first and you'll win.
So this is the biggest auto-scroller in this game. Absolutely nothing you can do to speed it up.
Set, go! Good, you're good.
Only thing you can do is to not mess up, which is actually surprisingly easy to do. Because for some reason, it only accepts directional inputs from the D-pad sometimes. So it's not very reliable to use the D-pad to do this, so you have to use the analog stick to go in these directions. And sometimes, at least I don't input the right direction exactly, so I sometimes cause myself to mess up. And actually, you can only really mess up like 3 or 4 times before it's impossible to beat it. But yeah, this thing tries to like make you think there's ways to do it faster by like having a combo meter and stuff. But no, there's nothing you can do to speed this up. This is at least the only pins and needles quote-unquote fight that isn't heavily RNG dependent and AI dependent and stuff. This is basically just one big scripted event. Most of the pins and needles fights though are just terrible. Hurry, implying that I can go any faster.
Yes! You, my friend, are the dance king.
Now we run over and grab this moonstone. Whoop, what just happened? Don't do that. For some reason the audio cut out there. That was weird. And now we're gonna head over to Dry Rock so that we can go get Yorbles and then go to the Sun Temple, because we can clip into the Sun Temple also. There's a lot of sequence breaking in this game.
Burial grounds is kind of creepy, huh? I know of another place we can get more plants. It's in
So if you open that door from earlier, we can just run straight through here. And that saves about like 20 or 30 seconds. This place actually tends to lag the game quite a bit from the camera having to load all these dust particles, because we're like constantly going down, and when we go down like that, then the entire screen is filled with the dust. Now I believe actually there is a faster way to do this place than I've been doing it. I'm gonna try to remember to do that, but I might forget. I might forget what the thing is, because I haven't done it yet in a run. I only recently was told by Kirst that the way I was doing it was slower. So, no, we want to jump down here. Forgot where I was going. Jump here. Try to grab that on the way down. Longer life is very important for Sun Temple. The way that I end up doing Sun Temple is almost impossible without longer life. It's possible to get up these ledges without grabbing the edge, and that's obviously faster than having to pull yourself up. That's true with every single ledge in the game. You want to avoid grabbing ledges as much as possible, but sometimes it's hard to do.
When in doubt, take the stick out.
But alright, now we're gonna actually go past this plant here and go into this area. So let's see if I can remember what the differences were. Okay, Okay, I think we're going to want to grab this. This might be wrong, what I'm doing. So just keep that in mind. Then we're going to jump down here, get that later. There's the gong you're supposed to ring, but we can't yet. We're going to jump up here. And then grab the ledge like this. And then we can clip through the wall here. And get into the loading zone. Why is this opening that folder up? I don't get it. Every time I hit my split button, it's opening a folder up.
The temple's been here for way longer than I can remember. Many of its secrets have been lost.
Right here there's an extremely difficult strat that we can do to skip this little fight here. I'll try to go for it to show it off. Okay, with an absolutely perfect triple jump, you can skip that encounter. Normally what we would do though is just hit those 3 nurbles, and then a platform comes down and you can jump across. I wouldn't recommend going for that triple jump just because it has to be absolutely perfect in order to make that jump. I don't go for it in runs, it's really hard. But anyways, I should mention Sun Temple is the hardest point in the game. This is probably where a lot of your runs are going to die, just because of how difficult it is. Normally, if you had been just holding down Crazy Feet this whole game, you'd probably only be at about 200 or 300 mana right now. And with that, there's a lot of points in this game where you have to kill a bunch of giant nurbles, and so the fastest way of doing that is to use Thunderstrike here. But that uses 50 mana every time you hit an enemy with it. And so if you only have 200 or so mana here, you're not going to really have enough to take out all the enemies quickly. And so it becomes very difficult. Right here you just want to kill these 4 nurbles. Just do this as fast as you can. I don't really have an optimal way of doing it. And then right here, this is the reason why you need a minimum of 50 mana. You technically don't need it, but you want to do Summon Melon, then switch back to Crazy Feet, get item storage, and then you want to throw hover up into the corner right here. This is actually this statue here has like a giant square hitbox actually. So you want to go into the corner of the statue and the wall. And if you can do it right, this is a bit tricky to do, but if you do it right, for some reason I'm not getting it. You can grab the ledge there and then clip through. And that skips having to do that whole really obnoxious room. So now you want to make sure to not roll. Do not roll at this point, because rolling causes you to get rid of item storage, as you may recall. And we want to keep item storage. So don't roll. Although I'm not sure, it might actually, if you have excess mana, it might be faster to just keep rolling through here and then just do another Summon Melon later. That might actually be a little bit faster, but for now I'm just not rolling. Make sure to, oh, it's not this one, I believe it's in here. Don't miss this Yorble. I've missed it a few times. This room, you're intended to kill all 6, I think, of these nurbles. But we don't do that. We just grab that Yorble and then throw hover up here. This is probably one, I think it's one of the longest throw hovers in the game. We need to get up here. Up here there's no more wall, and we can get past the door. And then here you're intended to do some more stuff like that,
I think those jars are full
but
of
instead just grab the orbital
We may be able to use them to start fires. I think the hot floors will ignite.
and then do the exact same thing. This one actually is a bit easier though. And then in this room, well, first grab this orbital. This room, there is actually a very difficult strat that you can do that saves 40 to 50 seconds, I believe. And, yeah, it saves like 40 seconds if you get this strat. But you only get one chance to do it. Any other times, and you'd have to summon another melon and get item storage again. So it's not worth it. If you can manage to throw hover from here to that platform over there on your first try, then you skip this entire room. But it is an extremely difficult thing to do. Like right there, I just completely biffed it and didn't even get a single throw hover jump. So instead, the normal way of doing it is to jump on here. There's an Nurble spawns that when you kill that Nurble, he raises another platform. Don't die here. But you don't need to kill that Nurble, you can make this with a crazy feat and staff jump. Run over here. Don't get killed by that guy. Run here. Step on this. You're going to want to switch to Thunderstrike if you have enough mana right here. And just kill these Nurbles. There is a Yorble over there, but we don't get it because if you... I'm gonna... Hold on, I need to focus here. The way that this room is routed, it is possible to skip this entire room. So we route the game so that we don't pick up that Yorble in case we do skip this whole room. So that we don't end up missing a Yorble. Right here is the most difficult room in the entire game. It is very helpful to have at least 300 mana for this room. You're most likely not going to have that much if you've been crazy feeding through this whole game. It doesn't save time to save your mana, but it makes this room much easier. In fact, I'm actually going to kill myself here so I get extra health to fight this. Because this room just gets insanely difficult if you spend too much time in it. So with Crazy Feet, or with Thunderstrike, you can just take these guys out fairly quickly. Do not forget this Yorble here, I've forgotten it quite a few times. Also, when you're using Thunderstrike, make sure to not hit any other Nurbles along with the giant ones, because it uses 50 mana for every enemy that you hit with a swing. That room went very well for me right there, but without using Thunderstrike, that room gets incredibly difficult. The only thing you have to do is kill the 6 giant Nurbles, but that can be very difficult if you have to kill them in 3 hits each without Thunderstrike. So that room should split there, by the way. That room is probably going to kill a lot of your runs. And you're rewarded by finishing that room with the most RNG dependent and horribly inconsistent boss fight in the entire game. I'll try to say like the strats for this fight, but I hate this fight so much. What you want is 3 of these fire ones, or not fire ones, the red ones. You want to get the red ones and then get like a pot shot on them. If you hit all 3 on them, the red ones do the most damage. You really don't want them to get yellow, because yellow has 4 individual shots, and these guys will just run around you in a circle, shooting all 4 of them very slowly until they run out. For example, like watch what happens when he picks this up. There's no way for me to hit him, I can't get around to hit him, and he just runs in a circle and slowly fires them. So this is a very difficult boss fight to do fast. Blue ones are actually some of the worst you can get. because there's only one of them. Yeah, it's homing, but there's only one blue. I should explain what each one does. The yellow ones, it's just 4 basic shots that you have to aim. It's probably the second best in my opinion, just because you can do a fair amount of damage. The red ones are shots of 3, but you only get 2 of them. This one does potentially the most damage if you can get all 3 hits at the same time, like so. If you can do that. Green ones, you like lob an explosive shot. Like, see, that's just so much time wasted right there. Yeah, but the green ones shoot 3 explosive shots that you have an arc. So in other words, it's very easy to miss with them, and it doesn't really do that much damage. And then blue ones are a single homing shot. So the ones you want are red and yellow, and you do not want pins and needles to get yellow ones. There's not much you can do to prevent them from getting them, but just know that if they get a yellow one, it's going to take a very long time to be able to hit them again. So just do your best on this fight. When you're at this double phase here, they can hit each other, so keep that in mind. You actually kind of want them to get green ones in this phase because they can just take each other out really quickly if they're both chasing you at the same time. I missed pot shot. There we go. There's 2. I somehow diverted him from picking up the yellow one. That was pretty cool. I don't think he was aiming for the yellow one though, so that's probably why he didn't get it. There we go. That wasn't too bad of a fight. So now you get the moonstone. You can actually control the phoenix during this cutscene. It's kind of funny. You can push tack around and stuff. Alright, now we're going to finish up Dry Rock, and let's see if I did that thing right earlier. I believe now we're going to have to grab this Yorble, right here, and then jump up to where that other Yorble is. What I'm doing right now is faster, I'm just not entirely sure that I'm doing it right. I think I am, though. And now we jump out here. And then run this way to this rhino here. And then we have to get the remaining 6 Yorbles in this little area. I think there's 6. And then we'll finally be done with Yorbles. And then we start the intentional start of the moonstone collecting phase, but we already have 2 of them. Oh, there's a thing there. So the ability to get into those moonstone areas quicker, or to be able to clip into them, is actually really useful for multitasking. We can go and get the moonstones, which we have to get anyways, but we can also get Yorbles along the way of getting the moonstones. So it saves a lot of time. Don't pick that up, there's no reason to get it, and it just wastes time. All it does is it makes your acorns do damage, but you never have to fight Nurbles with your acorns, ever. There we are, there's Dry Rock. Now we have to go and turn the Yorbles in. And then we start Chicken Island. I'm still really bummed that this is going to have to be split into 2 parts since OBS crashed. But, whatever. I guess even if I had been locally recording, it wouldn't really matter. Actually, I took a slow way here. Don't do what I did. Here, I'll go back and show the right way to do that. If I could get off of this thing. Don't take the path that I took. Instead, run this way and go under here again. So the amount of mana that I have right now is actually right about the amount that you'll want to have at this point. You might not have this much, but you want to make sure that you have at least about 100 right now. And the good thing is, once we get the Amulet of the Champions, if we are at full health, we get the Crazy Feet effect without using mana, which is very helpful for conserving mana for the rest of the run. Like so. I'm at full health, and so I have Crazy Feet, and it actually doesn't stack, so using Crazy Feet right now would just be wasting mana. I don't go any faster.
As long as you're at full health, it'll cause you to run faster and jump higher and farther.
So now we're on our way to Chicken Island. It's one of the coolest levels in the game, but sadly it's really spread out. Everything in it is really far spread out. So going there for Nubu plants, or mana is, I don't know. Let me say that sentence again. Going to Chicken Temple for Nubu plants or Yorbles is a waste of time because everything is really far spread out in this level. It's a shame because this level is really cool. It's aesthetically neat.
Chicken Island is home to a people that worship chickens. They do. It's really made up of many little islands. The area is filled with air and water.
For some reason I stopped rolling there, I don't know why. So just jump over there. You actually do get a decent amount of feathers along the way here, so that's good. Because remember, you need 50 for Chicken Temple and 50 for the final boss. We're supposed to hit that thing right there, but actually for some reason the trigger for this area is just outside of the door. So we don't even need to open the door. We can just walk into the door. It's weird. Now we're in Chicken Temple.
I remember this place.
Thanks to throw hovering, we can actually skip about half of this level. Although sadly, as I said earlier in the run, if we could find a consistent way of throw hovering, we could skip all of this level. But since throw hovering is extremely difficult to do, we can only skip about half of it, which is still a huge amount. At least we get to skip all of like the levels that are hard, all of these puzzles. Chicken Temple is basically just a bunch of puzzles where you have to take this egg and then get it back to the and that is Chicken Temple. But thankfully all of the puzzles that are actually like somewhat challenging are in the second half, and so we skip all of them.
I wonder what that would look like in this place.
Because the trigger to start the fight is just completely straight up from this area, and this platform just keeps rising up there as you finish levels. So we could theoretically just throw hovers straight up there and skip everything. This puzzle is basically the exact same thing, except it shows that chickens don't like it when you're holding this egg. So if you get hit by a chicken, then you'll take damage and drop the egg. You have to do it again. But we're just so fast that we don't have to worry about that. And one thing to note is that there is almost no mana anywhere in this level. So if you use Crazy Feet to like go fast, just keep in mind that you are not going to be able to get that mana back. There's actually very little mana for the rest of the game. The only mana in this level is from these things, and you get like 2 feathers. Here we're actually going to get item storage, but we aren't going to use it for throw hovering. We're just going to use it so that we can grab stuff while we have the egg. So we get item storage by zooming in with the staff while that egg drops on us, and that's the same thing as hitting it the frame that we pick it up. It's just that we are zoomed into the staff while carrying while picking up an item. And so that allows us to carry this egg while grabbing the rope and edge, like ledge of that platform, and that saves a lot of time. Now we can just walk up here, grab this, like so, and then this is where we need to use that 50 mana. We need to summon a coconut here. Not a coconut, a melon, I guess, technically. So summon melon. And the trigger to start the boss fight is right on this thing. It is, now this boss fight is very difficult to do quickly. It's possible to one cycle this boss, but it is extremely difficult. Oops, don't hit chickens with the staff, it makes them run towards you instead of getting hit by it. So we're going to want to put as many of these down here as we can. Don't get hit by that, it causes you to die and restart the entire fight. I'm going to try to one cycle this to show you how it's done. It might actually be possible now. I've gone fast enough, I think that I might be able to do it. So I put it on the one closest to me. Okay, he's going to that one. Okay, that's not as good. You want him to go to the first one, or you want the one that you place it in to be the one that he goes to first, because that gives you like a backup one in case you miss.
Look up there. I've been watching for a while.
What? Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. Okay, well. So much for one cycling it. I put it in the wrong spot because I'm an idiot. So, not gonna one cycle him. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't do that though. Let's pretend that we're still on the first cycle, because technically all I did was just miss it. So, oh yeah, these chickens, by the way, they hate it when you bring eggs near them, so they try to attack you. Okay, he's going to the one that I placed down first, that's good. So you want to do that. Thing is though, they spawn a chicken near you every time they get hit. This is a very tense boss fight. If you miss a one cycle, you just automatically lose 30 seconds, so it's not an optimal thing to do. Alright, I got the one cycle though. I don't think I should have any problem. Oh, he juked me, he went to the other one first. So that'd be a little bit of time loss, but that's like minuscule. So you want to do that. And that's the boss fight. Now the moonstone spawns right here, where I was standing. So you want to end up as close to this as you can. And that's all the moonstones. Now it is time for the final boss. And you want to make sure that you have 50 mana for the final boss, because that lets you do another item storage and throw hover. This one though I've never actually pulled off in a run because I always forget to preserve the 50 mana, and so I end up with only like 30 by the final boss, and then I can't do this trick. I'm not sure exactly how much time it saves. In fact, it might only really save like 10 seconds. So it might not even really be worth trying to preserve the mana. But I have plenty right here because I haven't been using it much. I haven't been using Crazy Feet very much, so I have plenty of mana left. Obviously you wouldn't want to take damage there because that means you have to hold Crazy Feet. But what I was saying is that it might not be worth trying to preserve the 50 mana if you need to use Crazy Feet. Like the time that you save by just running with crazy feet might be more than what using item storage does in the final boss. So you want to spam A to skip that cutscene. So here's the final boss.
Place we visited. Well, I don't have anything to say about the Dark Temple except be careful. I don't like this place.
This boss is kind of weird for a final boss. If you couldn't tell yet, the fighting physics or the fighting mechanics in this game are very terrible, and so I'm kind of glad that the final boss is the way it is. Instead of like just trying to do a bunch of damage to some guy, you have to actually like just go around breaking a bunch of stuff. So now you have to wait here, become a chicken, because he just makes us turn into a chicken. And now what we want to do is summon a melon here. Get item storage as quickly as we can. Oops, don't do that. Jump on top of this, and you have to make sure to stay on top of the hitboxes of these spike things. Normally you're supposed to like shoot a bunch of plants down and then turn into a rhino and break through this, but we can just do this. Sadly you can't hit those when you're inside of that. You have to wait for their hitbox to be, or their little shield thing to be destroyed. Oh, come on. You want to make sure you don't get hit by these green things, but at the same time you don't want to jump too far out of the way, because then the green things won't hit the shields. The bad part about this boss fight is that if you die at any point during it, you have to restart the entire fight. And that can be a huge time loss. That can be a huge time loss if you're like right at the end of the game here and then you die right here, lose 3 minutes. Like, that's not a good thing. Now for some reason you actually can't use that trick to make this orangutan launch you faster. I guess it's because they don't want you to hurt Flora or something, but now once you do this, you just have to attack once. That turns Playlock into a sheep. He spawns at some random location. And then you just bring the sheep up here to Flora, and then we stop the timer when it says objective completed. Right there. So that's the game. That's the 80% route. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to message me, or if you're watching on YouTube, then comment. But yeah, that's my best attempt at making a guide for running this game. So yeah, sadly it had to be